Yeah, so my question is looking at it from the two types of government, talking about democracy and fascism. Should the government always listen to the will of the people? Because now it's one thing for the people to have a will that, okay, this is what we want, right? Giving a very good example, we're talking about let's look at um, British society or in Britain, what happened very recently with majority of the far right
Are they really far right?
individuals.
I
Okay,
don't really agree with them far
I
right.
do, I
I
do,
think that not everyday
well,
individuals are frustrated from.
I would not want to say they are everyday individuals,
Okay, yeah.
but still, where I'm going to now is that the Britain government did not listen to those people that were saying that, okay, let there be no immigrant and all of that. So should the government always listen to the will of the people? And that's where fascism comes in. Fascism do not even give two cares about what the will of the people are. Do you understand? So should the government always listen to the will of the people?
I think yeah,
Yeah, the
like
three of you
for me, like
can just say
in the
something.
case for me in the case of like the UK, I think it's even leaning more towards communism than even fascism, in the sense that the people have over and over and over and over again stressed that they want migration cut down, right? That was the reason
Yeah.
why Brexit happened. The reason why they decided to leave EU was not because they were not making money. They didn't make money from
The
EU.
previous prime minister tried to cut down. What's his name?
They failed woefully. They made a deal with Rwanda. That was
Sunak.
yeah, it was even not even Sunak. It was like Boris Johnson before Liz Truss and then Sunak now came in. They made a deal with Rwanda, right, to be pretty much like deport illegal migrants that cross through boats and all of that back to Rwanda, and they will house them in Rwanda and all of that. As at the time the conservative government left, not a single migrant was in those hotels. I watched the documentary there. The hotels were empty. Like the Rwanda, the staff there were like lounging. They were like, bro, they've not sent the migrants though. We've already built the hotels, you've put all the facilities in place, but bro, there's no migrants, so I just want to chill. And then they were asking Rwanda to send the money back. Rwanda said, we're not going to do that. They already signed the contract. You understand? So the previous governments have failed over and over and again to do it. Even the current Labour government, I was watching the UK parliamentary debate. They made a case that they asked the representative in the debate that are you going to, I probably put this video as well for the audience to watch. Said, are you going to, do you agree rather? I'm just paraphrasing, right? Do you agree that legal migration, not even illegal, legal migration in the UK is excessive? And the Labour representative rose her hand up. It was a question for if you agree with it, raise up your hand. And she rose up her hand.
Thank you, Penny Mordaunt, for that. Just to return to Christine's question, she's hearing that migration levels are too high, getting higher, putting a strain on those public services. She understands as a country, she says, that we need some foreign workers. What are we going to do about it? Just before we get the debate flowing, please raise your hand if you think the net level of legal migration, that is the additional number of people coming to the country to work and live, needs to fall. Please raise your hand. The number needs to fall.
What a sorry
Nigel
reflection.
Farage, Penny Mordaunt.
It's due to fall anyway.
Daisy Cooper, Angela Rayner.
The
Thank you very
Westminster
much.
status quo. That's
Thank
exactly.
you.
That's the Westminster
not at
status
all.
quo. Of course
No,
it is.
no,
The
no.
four main
Stephen.
parties.
No, it isn't.
The four main
No, it isn't,
parties,
Stephen.
all with
I
the.
just want to turn to Angela Rayner, who's quite quiet here. You did raise your hand alongside Nigel Farage on that question. Angela Rayner.
Yeah, because the Tories, they talk about a cap, but we've had net migration going up and up because our economy has relied on overseas workers well, it's flatlining. But what we've said is that we need an industrial and skills strategy because we've got unemployment going up in the latest figures.
You've
so
had
we've got to make
14
sure
years to come
you've
up
had
with
14
some
years in
ideas on this, and
government.
we have. We've got to work.
Meaning that even the current government recognizes that is a problem, right? But the action, in quotes, hasn't really come into place. So I think those are frustrated individuals, and it's a majority of the English indigenous population that actually believe that. Although many of them may not lean to the extreme of like carrying out riots and burning places where they're keeping refugees. Okay, so that's an extreme. Nobody supports that. But I just feel there's a concern that has been not been addressed, and the concern is legitimate. The will of people in this case, if I'm going to go back to the topic, the will of people in this case is correct.